Good afternoon. The November 1st, 2011 meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust will be in order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the October 18th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there comments, questions, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those, voting. Minutes are approved. Next item is a consent docket.
I move the consent docket subject to individual consideration. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the consent docket. It's item 3A through I. Are there matters to be considered individually?
Mr. Chairman, staff would like to point out that in your consent agenda, we're including water main replacements in 3 neighborhoods that were impacted this summer. We're also making some changes to our booster station number 8, our largest north system pumping station, to improve those pumps for next summer. And finally, we're doing 2 things of general interest: planning for future controlled burns on our property, because we consider those very successful, through an agreement with the Forestry Service, and authorizing a lease with Quail Ridge Sporting Clays to begin that land use development process. We're very excited about all those things.
Is the controlled burn agreement like it pretty much like it was last time, where they're just going to have to wait and see when they can do it? But
Yes, sir.
you have a window?
And not presently. The winds are the wrong direction. I understand the next window is probably early April, but I will double check.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Are there other further questions or matters to be discussed separately? Hearing none, voting please. Consent docket's approved. Next is a concurrence docket, item 4. There's items A through G.
Move subject to individual consideration.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Are there matters to be looked at separately? Hearing none, voting please. Concurrence docket's approved. Next item is item 5, an emergency construction contract by resolution. Item 5A.
Move approval.
A motion and a second to approve item 5A. Are there questions or comments from staff? Anybody? Hearing none, voting please. 5A is approved. Item 6. Item 6A is a joint resolution with the McGee Creek Authority updating fees. 6A.
Move approval.
Second. A motion and a second to approve item 6A. Are there comments?
Can you give us a little bit of an update, Marcia, on how the new rates are different?
Yes, it's simply a 4% across the board raw water rate increase. We do continue to have different payment methods, different commitment methods that can help reduce the total cost of the water supply that's purchased by typically wholesale customers along the pipeline.
So you mean like a take-or-pay contract?
Yes, you could select a method. You could select the method of scheduling water takes so that you minimize your total cost to around $1 a 1,000 gallons.
How many customers do we have taking raw water, approximately?
6.
6.
Thank you.
Are they sophisticated enough to realize that there's a difference in cost depending on when they take the water?
Yes, sir, and we'll remind them as the rates are approved. We send out reminders and offer them, again, the opportunity to select. It's a power plant, a couple of water districts.
Shawnee,
Shawnee.
West Watkins.
Yes. yes. It's a diverse group, but
From whose share of the water do all those take water from?
This is Brett Weingart, Chairman and Trustees. The McGee Creek segment of the actual pipeline that is managed by the McGee Creek Authority, the revenues from those sales go to McGee Creek Authority to offset the aliquot shares. I know that's a unique word, but each member participant of the McGee Creek Authority has a financial responsibility to share in the budget of the McGee Creek Authority, and a portion of their responsibilities is offset by the sales revenues that are associated with their group. So that, for example, the Atoka Rural Water District in Atoka County, the County of Atoka, allows the Rural Water District to use a portion of its water, and it offsets its aliquot share. On the Atoka pipeline segment, the McGee Creek Authority member participants agreed in '96 to start this process, whereby we share proportionally the appropriated water rights, storage rights in the McGee Creek Authority water to sell along the McGee Creek or the Atoka pipeline. So the Pot County Rural Water District, the Cedar Valley, Hartwig sales, and are going proportionally offsetting our responsibilities. The transportation costs coming up the Atoka pipeline segment, those go to Auckland. The water portion of the fees goes to the McGee Creek Authority as an offset because we provide the loan backup for McGee Creek. It's worked out in a spreadsheet as an offset.
Safe to say it's complicated.
yes, sir.
Have any other comments? Hearing none, voting, please. Item 6B is approved. Next item is a resolution that might require executive session. Do we need executive session?
My recommendation, Mr. Chairman, is to adopt the resolution, in which case we would not need the executive session on this item.
Have a motion?
Also move.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve item 6B. Is there comment, questions? Voting, please. 6B is approved. Item 7, status report on the Utilities Department.
Move the item with the question.
Second.
Is the September 11, is that September 1st or 30th?
30th, it's,
I used to say on there somewhere, but I don't remember. I don't see it there.
it's the full, it is those months, so the end of the month. But
End of month?
We fix that in the future.
So how are we doing so far?
Not good.
Well, I mean, subsequent to this data point, we had water releases.
Yes, the release from Lake Canton is actually stopping at Lake Canton today, and we'll take another 6 days or so to wrap up. We have about 5 feet added to Lake Oberholzer. It's now about 5.5 feet below maximum, and we've added about 5,000 acre feet there. We've added about 8,500 acre feet into Lake Hefner from the release. Lake Hefner's up about 4.5 feet. We expect it to be up about 7 feet by the time the release is complete. Then unfortunately, today Lake Hefner is still 10 feet down from maximum, and it will end up being below maximum. It will be briefly boatable.
So at the end of the release, Hefner will be down about 7 feet?
Yes.
And what's left now in Canton?
Canton is, we have 20,000 acre feet to draw,
Okay.
potentially. We are watching and aware. I think, as you know, since we started the release, the long-range forecast has deteriorated.
Right.
Looking at heavy drought continuation through April, that's not necessarily an indication of rain. events, we could be in a drought and get 5 inches of rain.
Right.
Because we're that depleted, we're between 9 and 15 inches of rain behind in our water supply area. But it is something we're working on. We want to talk to Aqua about. We're 3.1 billion gallons ahead on pumpage. Now, last year was not, this part of last year was not high pumpage, particularly time, but that puts us, for the years you can imagine, since July and August were so intense, at a very high level for this time of year. We're about 25% ahead of last year. The meter sales, more encouragingly, meter sales are up a little bit, not perfect, but up about 6% over last year, and last year was about 10% low, so we're pleased that we're recovering. Again, we look at normal being about 2,400 meters a year, would be typically what we would expect. Other than that, I have failed to mention in the past that because of the drought, wastewater plants are at very low flows. We believe we have identified the dry weather flow for all the wastewater plants. All the groundwater's gone from around the pipes. We're not seeping any groundwater in any way. It's been an interesting learning experience I don't want to repeat.
Marcia, you mentioned we had 20,000 acre-feet left in Canton.
Yes.
Is that use it or lose it kind of thing?
No.
We can use it next year?
Pardon me. Yes, we have to use it in the water year. Ideally, we'll get, the way our permits work, we presume that we'll take stream water and not rely on a release from Canton when excess stream water is available, because we have the two lakes that can capture stream water when it occurs. For example, when there's a flood, Canton is the backup and very important to us. Right. Stream water has been very low this year, of course.
I got a nice email today from a Hefner boater who was glad to see the water, and he also included a photograph of Canton at the same time, and he was lamenting how bad Canton looked after this release.
Canton will be down 10 feet from the flood pool after the release.
Which I appreciated the fact he obviously understood that water's not in abundance anywhere. Anyway.
Not all understand that.
Exactly. That's what I was struck by it, because so many people don't seem to understand that at all. We have a motion and a second to receive the status report. Are there further questions? Hearing none, voting please. Status reports received. The next one is the General Operating Cash Fund cash projections report for October.
Move we receive the report.
Second?
Motion and a second to receive the Operating Fund cash projections report. Are there questions or comments? Hearing none, voting please. Reports received. Next one is the fiscal year 2012 Aqua monthly pro forma and status report through September of 11.
Move we receive the report. Second.
A motion and a second to receive the report. Are there comments on this matter? Hearing none. Reports received. Last matter on the regular part of the agenda is a status report on the proposal for oil and gas drilling location south of Hefner between Portland and Meridian. We have someone signed up that wants to speak, but I think it might be well to have the report presentation before that. So why don't we listen to the report first and then have the speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought was approached about an agreement for oil and gas drilling south of Lake Hefner Drive. We've held a public meeting with citizens in the area, as well as a separate meeting with the Friends of Lake Hefner on related topics. We received a lot of good information. The meeting that we held September 29th was well attended with the Friends of Lake Hefner, the Boat Club, YMCA Sailing Club, Game and Fish Commission, and residents from the Edgewater and Lake Erie neighborhoods, all of whom expressed concerns that you might expect: noise, odors, unsightliness, maintenance of the site. The applicants responded. We're continuing to work with the applicants to take those concerns into consideration, look for locations that might be mutually successful. And we heard what the citizens said, and we would both enjoy oil and gas revenues and want to make certain our citizens are protected as well. So Mr. Burchett, who's the chairman of the Friends of Lake Hefner, is our citizen.
Yes. Okay, if you'd like to speak, we'll come forward. Just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Dale Brochet, 11612 Ashford Drive. I just wanted to express my thanks, Mr. Chairman, members of the Trust, for allowing us to be a part of this process in looking at this lake. Our member organizations appreciate it very much, having the ability to have input into it. And we fully understand the necessity of the monies, especially in these times. And I just want you to know that if there's anything we can do to facilitate the process, we're happy to help you. Anything we can do for you. That's really all I have.
Has a consensus developed among your group in favor of or opposed to this problem?
No, sir. We're really very opposed to it. The neighborhood association, of course, is adamantly against it. I believe a well was attempted in that area in 1995, and they've been through this once before. And that's a very stable neighborhood. People have lived there for a long time, and many of them remember that. And as a matter of fact, I was amazed because they were pulling out boxes of old documents and things that they had from back then. So I think they're very prepared to fight to keep the well out of that particular area.
And from your comments, they would have an ally then in the Friends of Lake Hefner?
That the
Neighborhood Association.
The neighborhood association? Yes, sir, really, that's true. That's true.
You think the controversy will revolve around the location as opposed to whether or not the well is to be drilled?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I believe that's true, too.
Halfway there.
Yeah. Now, there have been a lot of comments about putting it on the track next to Red Lobster Restaurant there on Northwest Highway, and I realize they'd have to directional drill. Of course, that's old hat. That's been around for 50 years, and it would cost them a little more to drill from there. But to me, it makes a lot more sense because Northwest Highway will handle the heavy trucks that have to go in and out, and they won't be driving up and down Portland, which is a two-lane street, or coming around on the Lake Road, whatever direction is approved for the trucks to come in and out of the area. That particular area is very busy. A lot of people coming out of that neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods going to the trails and going to Stars and Stripes Park in that area. And there are some legitimate concerns. I live out northwest, and I've had wells drilled in my backyard recently, so I know what the lights are like for 6 weeks, and trucks day and night sitting out there running constantly. So it is a concern. And as far as Friends of Lake Hefner being for or against it, I don't know that we really take that kind of a stand. Personally, we really are made up of our member organizations, and we're really more just a conduit, a voice for those organizations. So if say the bicyclists don't have a problem with it and they don't attend the meetings and don't put forth any comments, but the neighborhood shows up en masse, then we're that's kind of the slant that we'll take on it.
Marcia, are you confident that the well could be drilled if it needed is and not impair or be a threat to the quality of the water in Lake Hefner?
Still looking at the details. The specific location that was originally proposed, we think, is not going to work for different reasons. Actually, the site probably could work. It would require some site construction to make certain that there's no ability of the site to lose water to the Lake Hefner waterways. Then there are issues about, there's a way to construct something that would would contain noise and ameliorate environmental concerns, whether that structure would be something you also want.
Put those considerations aside for a second, and just talk about the water quality issue in the lake. Could the well be drilled with a reasonable degree of assurance that it would not, under average circumstances, impact the quality of the water in the lake?
Yes.
But not with complete certainty. Though I've talked to a number of people in the business and who've been drilling wells for upwards of 40 years, and a number of them have told me that they would never attempt a well in that site because of its closeness to the lake.
There's a well on the north side of the lake that's about
Yes, sir.
as close as
That's
it's going to
correct.
be.
And that was another site that we looked at too, but obviously that's going to add about 15,000 feet of directional drilling to drill it from there. That would obviously be a much better place for it. But by limited geological knowledge, he's trying to reach a finger of the oil sands that come out into that area. So,
Is it primarily going to be an oil well or a gas well?
At this point in time, there was a proposal to explore for minerals. Whether it's oil or gas has not been finitely determined at this point.
That makes a big difference in how it's operated and the number of trucks going in and out. You have a lot if it's an oil well, a lot fewer if it's a gas well. And the tanks are going to be different sizes, different heights.
well, the wells in those particular sands produce both gas and oil.
Yeah.
Wells on the north side have there, and another finger of those same oil sands. So what they'll have to do is they'll have to truck the oil out, and then they'll also have to put in a pipeline for the gas.
Because the well on the north side is a gas well, right?
Yes, but it produces both.
Primarily gas well.
Gas.
Any further comments? We appreciate you coming down and appreciate the cooperation of the Friends of Lake Effner in terms of trying to make this work out. It's so much better to do it where we're talking to each other rather than talking about each other.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
There's an extra item on the agenda, which is an executive session concerning the lawsuit. So we probably need a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second?
We can just vote up here. Okay. We are in executive session, and we'll be back. I'm going to ask, it's not on the agenda, but is there anyone that's going to want to wait, a citizen that wants to be heard, or someone that wants to wait on us? I should have asked that before we went to the executive session. Okay, thank you. What's this?